just introducing Mr. Murtie, jeweler, who served in the Air Force, the US Air Force. Flying Tigers. Now, you were originally booked to go on the Doolittle trip, weren't you?
That's right.
So, and you got, someone took over you prepared the plane for some time.
Well, yeah, and we got to India.
Yeah.
We were going as a crew.
Yep.
And we got to India, and everything was very secret, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Even our training in the States, we didn't know what we were going to do.
Yep.
Okay, then when we get to India, why, they say, well, you've got a mission scheduled, but you got to wait. We got to wait for orders. So we waited about 12 hours, and they came around and woke us up at night, and they said, now, you're all ready to go. We're going to go on a mission. You're going on a mission.
Mm-hmm.
See, we'd already picked our airplanes up in the States and flown them over.
This was where they were going to take off from the aircraft carrier, wasn't it?
Yeah. Okay.
So that had never been done before.
In Karachi, India.
Mm-hmm.
And they loading the airplanes on the boat.
Yep.
Aircraft carrier. And then we were going to go out and get as close to Japan as you could, then we'd take off and go bomb Tokyo.
Yep.
Nobody'd ever touched Tokyo.
So it was really well, not just PR, but it was to show the Japanese that they were vulnerable, wasn't it?
Yeah, and the morale of the people in the States, and, you know, after being through what they had and the whole war,
yep,
was very low. So they figured might help. So anyway, so we're all set to go. And at midnight, they come in and they said, well, you're not going to go yet.
Mm-hmm.
And we said, what the hell kind of a deal is this? So finally we go back, and pretty soon, the next morning, about 10, 11 o'clock, they call us in. And we said, well, we're ready. No, your mission's been scratched.
Yep.
Oh, what in the world was it? So then they told us that we were going on this, off a carrier.
Mm-hmm.
See, all our practice had been done on a runway that had lines.
So you knew it was a short runway, but you...
on this line, and then we had to be off before we got to the next line.
Mm-hmm.
And we did that, and the States couldn't figure out why, but we did.
So you didn't know it was an aircraft carrier?
When we first started trying to get off before we got to that line, there was no way we could do it. You know, we had to really practice and get off so we could fly on the ground cushion.
Mm-hmm.
See? Okay, so we did. All right, then what happened? The first wave on the carriers took off, and they went. Well, everything was going great, and they were getting close to where they were going to take off of the carrier, but not quite. The next thing is overcast. Next thing is zero comes out down underneath and flies along, and they didn't know whether he saw the carrier or not.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if he saw the carrier, he'd climb, and he went back up into the overcast.
Mm-hmm.
He goes in and tells them there's a ship down there, let's go get it. And all of them would be out, that would be it. So anyway, they kept going, and they're thinking, well, all we can do is try it.
So they took off early?
So they took off early.
Still further away from the target than was planned?
Yeah, that was where it was wrong, because the plan was that they'd take off, bomb Tokyo, go and land in an airfield on the coast of China, which was fairly close.
Mm-hmm.
So that was still a plan. But since they had to take off early, they're going to have to stretch fuel and everything.
How many miles further away were they? than what the target was?
I forget what the number of miles was, but it was...
So you were on the carrier?
No, we weren't on the carrier yet. That was Doolittle and his mob were on the carrier. And then after they hit, we were to take off the next day and do the same thing so they'd really get a sock in the eye, you know what I mean? So when they took off, and what happened, some of them had to bail out because they ran out of fuel before they got to the island. Others ditched, and few of them, one or two is all, made it to China. So when that happened, they scrapped our mission. And they sent us on into China with a Flying Tiger, see. Because what the Japs had controlled the coast of China since 1935.
Yep.
And that's what they were doing with all their stuff to fight the war. They're bringing it out of China and making it through their factories and see. So then when we went into China, the Japs had a lot of Zeros and so forth, and some bombers. Well, we were to break that line of transport, see, by bombing the bridges and so forth. Through Indochina and through the coast of China, there's a lot of tropical area, and they've got lots of bridges for the railroads, and that was the way they were sending it. And these bridges were built by France after World War I.
Yep.
And so that gave them good rock. Well, then what we were supposed to do was go in and blow those bridges up so they'd stop them. Well, we did. We started that. And those bridges were built on big towers that supported them. And of course we'd go in to bomb and drop the bomb. We'd drop a 1,000-pound bomb and it hit the concrete and glance off and blow up off out here and didn't do anything to the bridge. See? So we still had to keep doing it. And we tried to drop them through and they'd still go off. And it was bothering me because we weren't allowed to drop a bomb out of that airplane in a dive, or we had to be flying flat because in the front of the bomb bay, our main gas line. And if that bomb went forward, it hit that gas line, that would be it. So anyway, we had to be flat and level when it dropped. Well, that meant you go in low and you go flat and you drop the bomb. And we were dropping bombs with a 12-second delay on the fuse so they could sink in and then blow up, because you gain 70% in structure failure of whatever you drop on. So the more I fooled with that, and the more I thought about it, I kept thinking, damn it, that's not right. Because when you drop the bomb, even from up at 20,000 feet, you drop a bomb, you feel it go off under the airplane. You get a bump. Well, then you stop and physics it out physically. If you're going 240 miles an hour or 300 miles an hour when you drop that bomb's going the same speed.
Forward, yep.
Okay. And when you drop it, it's streamlined and heavy and falling, so it's going to follow you right to where you go.
That makes sense.
So anyway, I got fed up. I told the guys on the crew, I said, we're going to break the rules, which we broke rules all the time to get things done. And I think we can get one of those bridges. And I explained it to my crew, and they said, well, that sounds right. I said, well, we'll give it a go. We're either going to end up getting a bridge or we're going to end up with the airplane going down and us on fire. So I went in and I put the airplane down, gliding, and when I got down close, I tripped her off, and the bomb went down, went into the water, exploded at the base of the tower, picked that span of the bridge up there, way up, and then when it dropped, it fell clear through into the river.
Do you know which bridge that was?
Oh, it was down, no, I don't know which one it was, but there were so many of them
so that was Indochina.
Indochina.
Vietnam now, or Cambodia.
Yeah. And so that worked. So then we all started doing it. And we ended up having the most bridges bombed of any outfit in the whole Air Force, because we were
doing it where you get targeted. So the Germans...
The other way was the fighters, but they couldn't carry the load, see. They could dive in, but they still...
So that was on a B-51, wasn't it?
Yeah, and 40s. That's what we had for fighters. We went over there, it was B-40. And so, that was one of the reasons we went over there, is the Japs had everybody out where they couldn't bomb any of the country that we wanted to bomb. We're all too far back, and the P-40s didn't have enough range. See, so then when we went over to B-25, we put hopper tanks in the...
So you had to take weight out of the plane for the long trip, you said, where you had to unload things out of it to get the weight down.
That's right, but you see, with the B-25 you could haul a lot of weight. And we hauled a lot of gasoline too, which gave us a long range. We could haul 10, 12 hours.
Right.
See, so we could go a long way.
Would the co-pilot take over for part of that to rest you as the pilot?
Yeah.
Or so you go and have a sleep for part of that, would you, or you'd all be awake the whole time?
Oh, you'd be awake. You'd have to be. Yes, very. You know.
I'm just thinking when fatigue cuts in, that your concentration drops.
That was all out. You just were there to do a job.
Well, I'm just thinking of, this week we had a ship run onto the Great Barrier Reef where they said the first mate had been awake for 2 days, and it was to concentration because he had been awake so long. And I'm thinking in wartime, where obviously you're limited with skills and pilots, but at the end of a 12-hour shift, you can't be on the ball as much as you were when you started, surely. No,
you got to stay alert, because you could be attacked any time too. So when you're up flying to get there.
So you only have one pilot on board, not a co-pilot?
No, I had a co-pilot, or we did, in some of the airplanes. But we also had airplanes that had a 75mm cannon in the nose. And we didn't have any co-pilot on those. The navigator and bombardier sat where the co-pilot normally sat, see. And
so the 75mm cannon, that would be for what sort of things would you use that against?
Ground
targets.
Any kind. That was the beauty. For example, these bridges all had a lot of guns on the ground to protect against airplanes. But we could come out at a distance with this cannon and be a long ways off, but clear out of the range of their guns. And we could shoot all the guns up before we got there and then drop the bomb, and
so
they couldn't get it.
With the 75mm cannon, I'm just trying to think that's
had a 3-inch shell.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's
it was about that long.
So how many shots would you get out of that?
Well, I had a crew that was very, the engineer especially was extra special, because that cannon had to be hand loaded.
Yep.
Which meant the engineer in the engineer's compartment straddled it to push the shell in.
Yeah.
And you see, what would happen if I pulled up suddenly, he'd go down and the family jewels would be gone.
On the hot gun.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, what we had, the way the routine was that they would put the shell in and step back, and then they would signal to the bombardier, who was on the right of the pilot, and he'd tap the pilot on the shoulder, and then he'd fire the cannon. And you see, there's lots of motion that's lost, time lost when you're traveling. So I had an engineer that could straddle that cannon, load it, and I just kept my thumb on the trigger, and when he threw the headlock in, the cannon would go off. But I had to fly straight and level. I didn't dare pull up sharp or down he'd go. And we have at times got 8 shells off in one pass, which was a record.
8 shells loaded, ejected, and then done. So
8 of them.
So you'd be ankle deep in red hot shells, would you?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Did you ditch those overboard somehow, or did you carry the shells to reload them?
Oh, we had shells that we put on just like the rest of our ammunition in that area, so you pick one up and shove it in.
But I'm just thinking, where would all the empties go? They'd be all round your feet, or?
Oh, they'd be back where they...
Because they'd be red hot, wouldn't they?
I don't really remember.
Right. Tell me about the time when you lost a wing to a mortar.
Oh.
Didn't you get hit by a mortar, or?
Oh, a mortar, oh yeah. Well, we were running on a bridge, going to do that, and we were all ready, and I was just getting ready to let the bomb go, and all of a sudden, they shot a mortar off. You know what a mortar is?
Yeah,
they just dropped the shell in,
trench mortar.
And we flew right into it.
So, is that the only plane ever brought down by a mortar, do you think?
I think so. Anyway, what happened, I dropped the bomb, but it went right alongside of where it should have gone, because it flipped the airplane. And I pulled off, and I asked the guys, I said, "You guys all right? Anybody hit?" And we had a big hole in the wing, but it was all right, see. And they said, "No, we're right." I said, "Well, we got a bomb left, we'll go make a run on them again, and we'll get them this time." So I picked up and was making the second bombing run. And when I peeled off to go in on the run, well, all the cables let go.
The control cables for the...
And they were going like that, straight in, and no way to pull it out. And luckily, I was able to... The trim tab, which goes back to the elevator, it was still, that cable was all right, so I got it going, and with rolling the engines, I was able to pull out. We were just below the trees when I finally got it pulled out, and we started climbing again.
So you're only at a few hundred feet?
A few hundred feet, about 30, 40 feet.
Oh.
When I got it pulled out. Well, I started climbing because I wanted to get up in the hills. And I knew that we started rechecking the airplane after that, and one of the landing gears was hanging down. The bomb bays we couldn't close, and plus we had an engine that was smoking, which had got a piece of shrapnel in it. So here we sit. I can't belly it in because I got one gear hanging down. Can't retract it. So I've always just get up in the mountains, away from everything, and bail out. So that's where we were headed, and I flew for 3.5 hours that way, and got up to, we were up to 8, 9, 10,000 foot mountains, so I had to be above them, of course. And finally I figured that this engine was getting worse and worse. We'd better get out of it while we could.
So you had 2 engines?
Yeah.
You'd lost
and
one?
One of them was bad, and one of them was still alright.
And you didn't have controls on your wings?
That's right. So anyway, I told the guys, I said, alright, you guys in the back, bail out. And then everybody, and then the guys up front all bailed out. And the bombardier was the last one to go beside me, see? So I told him, I said, okay, you can go. And what had happened, unfortunately, he saw us going straight into the ground. It scared him so bad that he was just, nobody home upstairs. Because after we...
Just full panic, frozen.
I got it pulled out, and I said, okay, give me the course back to Mundai. And he looked at me, nutty as a fruitcake, you know, I mean, just nobody home up here.
So you'd only just realised that then?
Yeah.
Because you were flat out for 3 hours flying a bloody broken plane.
Well, and so anyway, I said, okay, you can get up and leave now. Be careful when you go out, because he had to go down into the engineer's compartment, and then there was a hatch down there, and the door, the inside door folded up in half, you know, with hinges and latched, and then the bottom door, you salvoed it, it flew off, right? So finally he got out, and I said, well, I guess I'm going to get out of this bloody thing. And I got back, and I started down.
So you have to go out the same way?
Yeah, I started down into the engineer's compartment, and here he is, hanging half in and half out of the airplane. One of his risers had hooked around, he'd popped the chute before he ever left the airplane.
So the chute's out?
And the chute went out through that door, sucked out, and the riser went around the door, and of course in the airplane, the chute was billowed out behind the airplane. So I went down, I was going to pull him back in, give him my chute, and then I'd take whatever I could do. And I went to pull him, I just want to pull on that wall. You could not budge him even, with that chute pulling on him. And we're going along about 240. So I tried that about 3 different times. Because also the airplane was going into a spiral when I left the controls. So I'd go and pull on him for a while, then I'd have to go back up and get the airplane straightened out and flattened out, and then go try it again. And I did that 3 times and couldn't budge. So finally I went down the 4th time, and I said, look, you're going to be all right. I've got to cut you loose so you can go down on one riser. And I had known guys that had done that, and they were all right.
One riser's...
One thing going up to the parachute.
Oh, yeah, instead of 2, yep.
So anyway, when I got my knife out to cut him loose, and he said, no, shoot me. I said, I can't shoot you. Oh, shoot me. Okay, cut me loose. You know what I mean? Just,
So
I cut him loose, and out he went. And then I bailed out because the airplane was such a dive I couldn't back up to the controls, see. Pardon me. So, then I was going way too fast, but I had to leave it. So I did. And we're up in the mountains, which is worse still because we're going to land at about 9,000 feet, which the air is pretty thin. We only had small chutes, 26-foot chutes. And with the weight, with all the gear you had on, well, I should have had one at least 30 feet. Anyway, so down we go. And I pulled the ripcord, and man, oh man, I used to have my chest straps so tight I'd have to sit down to buckle it. And that, when I pulled the ripcord going that fast, that came up, slapped my neck back. I thought it broke my neck. Really hurt, and my jaw. But I finally got it back down, and the chute was, we were going down, and I started looking around to see where the airplane had gone. And of course, you look all around, and finally I looked behind, and here it was coming right at us.
The plane you just left?
Yeah. So it had circled, and it came right around. Anyway, I'm hanging there, I'm thinking now it's going over, no, it's going to hit me, no, it's going under me. And it's coming down the same grade I'm going down. So finally I decided, at the last minute, I decided it was going to hit me. So I reached up and slipped the parachute. You take the air out of it. Spill it. And then you're going to fall for a ways, and it'll open up again, you hope. Which it did. And so then I said, well, I got that done, now I'll be all right. And I thought, you know, where the hell did that airplane go? So I looked, and here it was. It was in a circle, and I was right on that circle it lined up on it. And it was coming. And I said, well, it's going to hit me. Now it's going under me. Now it's going to hit me. Now it's going over me. Finally, the last minute, I slipped the chute, and it went over me. Well, the prop force caught the chute, and here I am really spinning up and down, you know, back and forth. I'm going to dump the chute, you know, because of this. Finally, I got the chute steadied down, and I was all right. So I start looking for the bloody airplane again, and here it comes. So it's going to be a race between me and the airplane. See who gets to ground first. So I'm hanging there thinking, what do I got to go use some more back. All right.
Everything's unplugged, you right?
I'll be back and continue.